what I regret? I regret what the media did to lie about the events of that day. I regret that the American people weren't allowed to know how many federal agents were present in the crowd. I regret that the tens of thousands of hours of footage that was recorded in the Capitol was not released immediately to the American public. I regret the livelihoods that were lost, the time that has been spent locked up unjustly, the amounts of time in court and on probation. The Democrats were regretting that they didn't just shut up, because now they're finding out. I'm hoping that these guys are out before I'm able to return, and if they're not, I'm coming back. I want to see them for their release. And I'll be the first member of Congress to offer them a guided tour in the Capitol tonight.
What's up, everyone? Jeremy here from The Quartering, and I've been covering the, quite frankly, refusal to follow through on President Trump's pardons and sentence commutations of the folks who have been held, I believe, unconstitutionally for the most part, many of them peacefully protesting, with a few kind of outside, agitators, and a few people who genuinely did perhaps go a little too far. But it's getting ridiculous now. And Republicans have basically set upon the DC jail to demand the release of hundreds of individuals who were pardoned back on Monday, I believe, late Monday night. And this scene is wild. And I'm going to stay on this until everyone has been freed, because it's important. And, YouTube hates these videos, so you leaving a like on them and you sharing them helps. And I'm really happy I have a sponsor for this one, one that lets me put them in spicy videos and has stuck by the channel through thick and thin. Real quick, a word from Sheath. Huge shout out to this video sponsor, Sheath. I've been standing behind this product for many, many years, and there's a reason why. And fellas, I know this isn't something you think about very often, but I promise if you give Sheath a try, you're going to be really, really happy with their product. Sheath was invented by a U.S. Army soldier who came up with the idea for Sheath during his second tour in Iraq, where it's hot as heck and his boys needed to breathe. The boxers are designed to keep your balls off your legs. Sheath has 2 individual compartments that keep everything down there separate, cool, and comfortable. And fellas, you know what I'm talking about. I was a little skeptical of the dual pouch thing, but let me tell you what, it's a game changer. And by the way, if you're not into that idea, you don't have to use them. I don't always use them, especially if the weather's pretty mild and I don't necessarily need it. You can just wear them like a regular pair of underwear if you want. Just in time for the holidays, Sheath has also rolled out new holiday plaid and their winter base layer set for ski season. If you're in Wisconsin, ski season might be for the fun times, but it's also very, very handy when you have to shovel that driveway or have to be outside for any amount of time. It really makes a big difference with the cold and the wind. Sheath will be the most comfortable pair of boxer briefs you've ever worn in your life. Plus, they have brand new materials like bamboo and mesh for even more cooling comfort. Go to sheathunderwear.com/thequartering and get the most comfortable underwear you've ever worn. It also makes a great gift, ladies out there. If you use promo code TheQuartering, you'll also get 20% off your order. Head on over to sheath.com and promo code TheQuartering for 20% off your order. Hey, I know it's a weird thing to think about, fellas, but give them a try. If you don't like them, you can always send them back. I have a feeling you really will, and women who use their products really like them too.
According to the United States Marshal, he's dealing with them one by one and getting all the paperwork. So, I would love for President Trump, for Attorney General Pam Bondi, to step in and help us out here with the U.S. Marshals. And
I mean, look, as somebody who has had to bail somebody out before, I think bail is a little different. Bail can take a really long time. But as far as I know, these pardons, you're talking about dealing with hundreds of innocent people. They should be immediately taken from their cells and freed. On top of that, by the way, you can do the paperwork later. These people obviously knew this was going to happen on day one. They should have been prepared. I think it's corrupt swamp people that are purposely dragging their feet on this.
And to make sure that doesn't become a paperwork issue. These men have already paid too much time, more time than they ever should. They should have never been locked up. I was on a news interview and someone was asking Trennis, one of our January 6th hostages that's on federal probation until President Trump signed the pardon, and she asked him if he regretted January 6th, and I stepped in and said, you know what I regret? I regret what the media did to lie about the events of that day.
Yes.
I regret that the American people weren't allowed to know how many federal agents were present in the crowd. I regret that the tens of thousands of hours of footage that was recorded at the Capitol was not released immediately to the American public. I regret the livelihoods that were lost, the time that has been spent locked up unjustly, the amount of time in court and on probation and defending defending oneself against something that they shouldn't have been have to defend. You know, November 5th showed that the American people believe us. They believe you. They believe that this is unjust because they knew that President Trump was going to pardon them. And that's exactly what he did. That's the mandate that he received overwhelmingly from America. And that is why President Trump is back. And if there's another regret, I'm sure it's only on the Democrats who are regretting that they didn't just shut up, because now they're finding out. I'm hoping that these guys are out before I'm able to return, and if they're not, I'm coming back. I want to see them for their release, and you know, I'll be the first member of Congress to offer them a guided tour in the Capitol.
Yeah, Boebert crushing it. I got the opportunity to meet her at the RNC. Very nice woman. You know, they say mega diehard Lauren Boebert offered soon-to-be-released defendants a private tour of the Capitol. He also directed the president, the attorney general, to seek the dismissal of about 450 pending criminal cases for J6 offenders. So that's an important note, too. If you are waiting for trial, if there are pending cases, it sounds like nearly 500 of them. It's wild. The amount of time and effort that they're putting into ruining these people's lives. I wonder if they'd ever done the same to the left. I wonder if they did this level of research for the Summer of Love, for all those people dropping bricks and doing all sorts of other stuff. Oh, wait, no, they didn't do any of that. You know, he directed, also Tuesday rolled around and some of the J6 people still remained behind bars. Concern began percolating that hard right lawyers, whether DC Detention Center got Trump's memo. You see all these people here on site. Crane explained that Real America's Voice that some defendants were still in prison pending paperwork, but assured viewers that the cases are being worked on. The DC jail doesn't have any federal authority to release some of these guys that were being held on federal crimes, the Arizona lawmaker said. So the paperwork had to start with the U.S. Marshals, and they said they were complying with the executive order, and then it just takes time. I mean, yeah, I get that, but I feel like, I feel like they've done enough time. You guys can do the paperwork later. Get them out. I don't see why you can't do that. Boebert also mentioned that the U.S. Marshal Service is working on paperwork for the defendant's release before asking for Trump and his nominee's Attorney General, Pam Bondi, for help. I would love for President Trump and Attorney Pam Bondi to step in and help us out here with this paperwork issue. The Colorado lawmaker also apologized to those in attendance, saying that she regrets how the U.S. government treated the defendants. I regret how the media handled all of this. Great move by Lauren Boebert. Here we have some of the first people freed.
First two. This is a few hours after President Trump signs his historic pardon. Andrew Valentine, Matthew Valentine, they've been released from the DC jail behind us, and we'll be taking them home. So it's a really monumental moment in our history. Are they leaving tonight? And they will be leaving tonight from this prison behind me.
How soon? Where are they now?
Very soon.
Woo! Whoa!
It's a great moment in our history.
Your name, please.
What's your name? My name is Paul Angrossi. I'm the White House liaison to the Justice Department.
So the White House is actually down there and making sure these people get freed. Looks like they got a nice, vehicle taking them away. This is wild. The Justice Department criminally charged 1,583 people in connection with the riot, which broke out after Trump, while serving the final days of his term, told thousands of supporters that the 2020 election was, these people did what they wanted to. Trump told them to stand down and stand by. He told them to go home. He did not tell them, and by the way, I wonder if these people get sued. I wonder if these people can sue. Matthew Valentine, 32, pled guilty back in September. A lot of these people pled guilty, but they didn't have a chance. I think they had a near 100% guilty rate. J6 inmate supporters await for the DC jail release yet now for a second night.
Where you see some MPD officers there up on the steps. They have been saying that the release is imminent and it's coming soon. So, Lauren Boebert,
looks how happy
Colorado, just
people
gave a news
are.
Conference, and members of the House Freedom Caucus have been here. All of them saying that this release is imminent, and yet people have been waiting here all day. This second day of waiting brought a larger crowd to the D.C. jail, including the former leader of the far-right extremist group, the Oath Keeper, Stewart Rhodes. Rhodes showed up early this morning after his 18-year sentence for seditious conspiracy was commuted by President Trump.
It's a good day for America that all the wrongs are being undone.
Yeah.
So none of these people should have been here in the first place.
A contingent of Proud Boys appeared, telling News 4 the group was here, in their words, to keep everyone safe. But a sense of frustration hangs over this crowd. Let's go! All supporters.
Yes, of course. Some people got out of control, but those people also served their time. Now, of course, the media is melting down, saying his J6 pardons are prelude to more bad behavior. That's how the media has been spitting this. Both edges of the political spectrum appear to have convinced themselves that the remedy to lax penalties for the other side's bad behavior is lax penalties for their own. Well, I'm not exactly sure how many people during the Summer of Love went to prison. I have a feeling it was zero. That's I don't believe that any of them, were charged like the J6 people were. 1,500 pardons, 450 people who were already in investigation. Final J6 convicts walk free as Trump calls sentences excessive. Now, I don't know if we've seen everybody released. As far as I know, I'm not sure. They're saying if a hair on their head was hurt, if anything happens to them in there, we will come and make sure that there's accountability, said Joshua Marcis, the co-founder of Veterans for Trump. But at 8 p.m., more people began emerging, including Jonathan Pollock, whose father, Ben Pollock, had taken part in a nightly vigil outside the jail. He wept and prayed as his son spoke about his joy of being freed into Trump's America. We've been fighting for the truth. I mean, I'm just so happy for these people. These people were literal political prisoners. There's just no calling it anything else. And it's sad that we had to have, Republicans showing up down there to make sure these losers did their job. I don't really buy that, I absolutely have to do paperwork. That's absurd. I'm glad they're free, but I will continue to keep watch over this to make sure that the swamp follows through on what President Trump ordered. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.